Linux Mint is one of the most beginner-friendly Linux distributions, but don't let appearances fool you. Beneath that clean and simple interface are plenty of features that most users never discover. In this video, I'm back with 7 more hidden features that will make your experience with Linux Mint significantly better. I guarantee there's at least one thing on this list that will surprise you. Alright, let's start with something that seems simple, but becomes incredibly useful once you discover it. We're talking about the software manager, which most people only use to install new applications. But there's a hidden view inside it that many users completely overlook. Open the software manager and look in the top right corner. You'll see 3 horizontal lines. This is the hamburger menu, as it's commonly known. Click on it and a drop-down menu will appear. Inside, you'll find an option called Show Installed Applications. Click it. You'll get a complete and organized list of every application installed on your system. And I mean absolutely everything. You'll be surprised how many programs are sitting on your computer that you completely forgot about. Tools you installed 6 months ago just to test, applications that came pre-installed and you never touched. I use this feature periodically to clean up my system. And honestly, it surprises me every single time how many things I forgot I had installed. If you want to remove any of these applications, the process is incredibly simple. Click on the app you want to delete, the software manager will open its page, and there you'll see a big remove button. One click and it's gone. Think of this as your digital spring cleaning tool. From now on, whenever your system starts to feel a little cluttered, you'll know exactly where to go. Now, a lot of people coming from Windows feel a bit intimidated by the terminal at first, and honestly, that's completely understandable. I went through the same thing when I started. But once you begin using it, you quickly realize it's one of the most powerful tools on your system. Here's a situation that catches almost every new user. You open the terminal and start looking for a settings or configuration menu, and you barely find anything obvious. It almost feels like the terminal doesn't have settings at all. Let's start with the most important thing, copy and paste. If you're used to using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V everywhere else in the operating system, you're going to hit a wall in the terminal. Here's why. In the terminal, Ctrl+C is already taken. It's the command used to interrupt or cancel a running process. So if you try to use it to copy text, you'll actually stop whatever is currently running. The correct keyboard shortcuts in the terminal are Ctrl+Shift+C for copy and Ctrl+Shift+V for paste. You just add the Shift key and everything works perfectly. Now, another thing people run into at the beginning is that the default terminal text can feel a bit small, especially on larger monitors or high-resolution displays. If you want to increase the font size on the fly, just press Ctrl+Shift+. Each time you press it, the text gets a little bigger. I use this often when recording tutorials so you can clearly see what I'm typing on screen. Here's one that many people don't even realize exists in Linux Mint. And when they discover it, they're genuinely surprised. Go to System Settings and look for Online Accounts. There, you'll see that you can connect your Google account directly to Linux Mint. Click on Google, then sign in. Linux Mint will automatically open your browser and take you to the Google login page. Sign in with your account, and then a page will appear asking which services you want to grant access to. I recommend selecting everything and clicking Continue. This way, all features will be available. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, there are 2 really compelling reasons. First, Google Calendar will integrate with your system. If you use the Calendar app on Linux Mint, events from Google Calendar will automatically appear there. Everything stays synced without you having to constantly check Google Calendar in a browser. Second, once your Google account is connected, you can access your Google Drive files directly from the file manager. Linux Mint uses Nemo as its default file manager. And with your Google account connected, your Drive appears there like a regular folder. You can browse your files, open documents, move things between your local machine and Drive, all without opening a web browser. This one is a bit less well known, but it's really cool and I think more people should know about it. Go to the menu, open the Internet section, and look for an app called Matrix. Matrix is a messaging protocol. Think of it as a decentralized alternative to something like Slack or Discord. Linux Mint has its own official community on Matrix, where real Linux Mint users hang out, ask questions, help each other, and discuss everything related to the distribution. When you open the Matrix app and create an account, you can join the Linux Mint community rooms and start interacting with other users. If you're completely new to Linux Mint and you have a question you can't find an answer to, this is a fantastic place to ask it. The community is generally very welcoming and helpful to beginners. If something isn't working properly, if you don't know how to do something, or if you just want to chat with other Linux enthusiasts, this is your place. What I like most about this feature is that it's integrated directly into the operating system. You don't need to search forums or find the right subreddit. The direct line to the community is already installed and waiting for you in the applications menu. All right, here's another one that is incredibly practical. Go to System Settings and click on Preferred Applications. This is where you take control over which programs your system uses by default for different types of content. Have you ever double-clicked a video file and been annoyed that it opened in the wrong player? Or clicked an audio file and had it open in something you don't actually prefer to use? It's happened to me many times, and I know how frustrating it can be. This is where you fix all of that. In Preferred Applications, you can specify exactly which app should open when you click a video, an audio file, a photo, a web link, and more. For example, if you prefer VLC over any other video player, you set it here once, and from that moment on, every video file you open will automatically launch VLC. The same applies to audio. Maybe you prefer Rhythmbox, or maybe you've installed a third-party player you like more. You choose it from here. It's simple, visual, and takes about 30 seconds to set up. Once everything is configured to your liking, your system feels much more personalized and consistent. This one is for everyone who has ever felt like 100% scaling is too small, but 200% is too big. Basically, anyone using a modern high-resolution display. I've run into this issue myself, and I spent quite a while looking for a proper solution. Right-click anywhere on the desktop and open Display Settings. In the User Interface Scale section, you'll notice there are only two default options, 100% and 200%. For a lot of monitors and a lot of users, neither of them is quite right, and you're left stuck in the middle without good choices. Look for the Settings button, click it, and you'll find an option called Enable Fractional Scaling. There's a note saying it's experimental, which means it might not be perfect on every setup, but on my system, it works without any issues. Enable it, then go back to the main display settings. Now you'll have a whole new set of options. 75%, 125%, 150%, and 175% are now available. You can fine-tune the scaling to exactly what makes your screen look perfect for your setup and your eyes. Just keep in mind that it's experimental, so if you ever run into display issues, you'll know exactly where to go to turn it off. Finally, we've reached number 7, and this is my personal favorite from the entire list because it's a real productivity game changer. We're going to create a custom keyboard shortcut to Open System Monitor, which is basically the Linux Mint equivalent of Windows Task Manager, but more importantly, this technique works for absolutely any application you want. Go to System Settings, then click on Keyboard. Inside the keyboard settings, find the Shortcuts section, and then look for Custom Shortcuts. This is where you can define your own key combinations that trigger specific actions. Click Add Custom Shortcut. A small dialog box will appear asking for a name and a command. For name, enter something clear, like System Monitor. Now for command, here's the important part. You need to know the exact terminal command that launches the application. Here's how I find it every time. Go to the menu, search for System Monitor, then right-click it and choose Properties. In the Properties window, you'll see the exact command used to launch it. Copy that command exactly as it is, go back to the Custom Shortcut dialog, paste it into the command field, and click Add. Now, Linux Mint will add it to your shortcut list and ask you to assign a key combination. Press the shortcut you want. I chose Ctrl+M, and it's very easy to remember. Close the settings, and from that moment on, whenever you press Ctrl+M, System Monitor will launch instantly. Why is this useful? Because if an application ever freezes, you need a fast way to get to System Monitor so you can force close the problematic program. It's like having a Ctrl+Alt+Delete equivalent, but configured exactly the way you want it. And there you have it. 7 more hidden features in Linux Mint that are genuinely useful and that most people completely overlook without even realizing they exist. We covered the installed applications view in the software manager. the terminal's copy-paste quirks and zoom shortcut, the online accounts panel for Google integration, the Matrix community app, preferred applications, fractional display scaling, and custom keyboard shortcuts. Thank you to all the channel members. Your support means a lot to me and helps keep the channel going. If you enjoyed this video and learned at least one thing you didn't know before, please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm continuing to make more Linux Mint tips and tutorials. And let me know in the comments which feature from today's video surprised you the most. I love reading your thoughts. See you in the next video.